Hey everybody, this is Dan. Today I'd like to share another chess puzzle with you. In this puzzle, it's white to play, and the white pieces were actually played by Nakamura, who is one of the top grandmasters right now, an American grandmaster. This game was played about 11 years ago, so at the time that the game was played, Nakamura was much younger and hadn't quite reached the level that he's at today, but obviously he was still a very strong player, and this particular checkmating combination is a pretty cool one. So take a look at the puzzle and see how you think white should continue. Feel free to pause the video and do some analysis, and then when you're ready to see the solution, go ahead and press play. Okay, so the first move here for white is bishop to h7 check. And this move, as the bishop is supported by the queen on c2. So this move is completely forcing, as the king cannot capture the bishop, so the king is forced to move to h8. So the first move for white, bishop to h7 check. First move for black, king to h8. And this king move to h8 places the black king on a square on which it's vulnerable to checks by the two white knights situated on d6 and e5. Both of those knights are now able to capture the pawn on f7 with check. And actually, one of those two moves is significantly better than the other, because one of those two moves leads to forced checkmate in all lines, and the other move allows black to escape without being mated. So actually, think we'll look at the incorrect move first, and we'll see how black is able to escape if white makes the wrong capture. So the move that is not as good is capturing with the knight on d6. So this move, knight on d6, captures on f7 check. Here black has two options. So we see, first of all, if black recaptures with the rook, okay, then the continuation for white would be to recapture the rook with the knight, and this is another check. But once black recaptures with the bishop, white doesn't have a checkmate. So this is the incorrect line, and it's so similar to the correct line that you do have to be a bit careful here with your choice of captures. So if this knight captures and rook captures, black is able to get away without being mated. Okay. So, however, if black is not too careful here and uses the bishop instead to capture, then the checkmate is still there. So in this particular situation, white can play knight takes bishop on f7 check, forcing rook takes knight, and then allowing a checkmate on the back rank with rook to e8 check, rook blocks, rook to f8 checkmate. So this particular line is similar to the types of things that happen if the other knight captures. And if the other knight captures, the difference is that for black, all of the lines are losing. There's no way for black to escape without being mated. So be careful with knight to d6 check. Knight to e5, knight on e5 captures on f7 check is significantly better because it wins in all lines. So if this knight takes, the e5 knight takes on f7, this leaves black with two options, both of which are losing. The first of the two options is bishop takes on f7. This allows knight takes on f7, which forces rook takes on f7, which leads to rook check on e8. This is another move that's very forcing and forces rook block on f8. And then rook takes rook on f8. This is checkmate. The other of the two options is rook takes knight, after which the rook check comes one move more quickly, and then the rook block, and then rook takes rook on f8, but this is not yet checkmate because that bishop is still on d5 able to block the check. So black plays bishop back to g8, and then white takes the bishop with the rook. Rook takes on g8, checkmate. So in the line after the first move which is the bishop check on h7, king to h8, The knight on e5 taking on f7 is a better move because it leads to two forced mating lines, one of which is bishop takes knight, knight takes bishop, rook takes knight, rook check, rook block, rook checkmate. The other of which is after knight takes, rook takes, rook check, rook block, rook takes, bishop block, rook takes bishop, checkmate. So I thought this was a pretty cool example because you might be tempted to, kind of make those two, capture with either the d6 knight or e5 knight without thinking too critically about which one is superior. And there are many situations that will arise in which either capture is equally good. But in this particular case, you have to be super careful of taking back with the d6 knight because black does have the defensive resource of rook takes, knight takes check, bishop takes, and then because the bishop guards that e8 square, the rook to e8 check is not really available there. So in this particular case, black can play on, and there's no checkmate. So for white, that is something to be avoided. And by playing knight on e5, takes on f7, you can avoid all of that ambiguity and just go in for two forced mating lines, both of which are equally effective. So I thought this was a really cool combination by young Nakamura, and definitely good for sharpening your tactical skills and calculation skills. And I hope you enjoyed this puzzle, and of course I will continue to share more. Feel free to leave comments, feel free to subscribe and share. Love to hear from you guys, and just having fun making these videos, and I appreciate you guys watching and supporting what I'm up to. Okay, thank you.